Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. It is Palestine here. I'm here because I wanted to make another video for you. I wanted to carry on from the video that I made this morning where I talked about how my grandmother whipped me with a switch because I said a word that I didn't even know what the word meant. And so in this particular video, what I want to talk about is another incident when my sister and I had gone shopping with my grandmother. I don't know where my brother was. I don't know if he was in school or what, but we went shopping with my grandmother, and so we were in a 1961 blue Rambler, and so my sister and I got in the front seat. And I said to my sister, I want you to sit next to Granny because I don't like her. And I don't recall if this is the incident, if this happened before or after she whipped me. I don't recall. But I remember saying to my sister, you sit next to her because I don't like her. And she heard me say that. And she said, I'm going to give you a spanking. And so we drove home, and I was sitting there the whole time waiting to get my spanking. And then we went back in the house, and it was a wooden house that my grandfather had made. And we went back in the house, and I was sitting there waiting to get my spanking. And so my grandmother went to the bathroom, and then she called me into the bathroom, and she told me, she says, I'm going to postpone this spanking. So I guess it hurt her feelings that I said I didn't like her. And I honestly don't recall whether it was before or after she gave me a whipping. But my grandmother was a very harsh woman. And so because she was a very harsh woman, it was easy for a child that not even was in school not to like her. And so that's what I wanted to talk about, this incident with my grandmother, how she was going to give me a spanking because I said I didn't like her, and I didn't get my spanking in the end. She said she was going to postpone it, and that may have been one of the last times she spanked me. That when she gave me that whipping, that may have been the last time that she ever did it. But it still was not a very nice thing to do. And as I was saying in my video this morning, my boyfriend was coming in and out of the room, so it was a little bit difficult for me to keep my concentration and speak while he was coming in and out of the room. But as I said, I spoke to CPN, community psychiatric nurse. She said that if my grandmother had whipped me like that today in England, I would have been removed from her care. I don't know if there would have been any consequences for her, but I would have been removed from her care. And that's another point, is that so the medical professionals in the UK are telling me that I'm mentally ill, but they're not taking my past into consideration. I even suggested to them that maybe I had PTSD, but they would not entertain the thought of PTSD at all. They wanted to give me a mental illness that I don't agree with. And so then we go back to the situation of trauma causes mental illness. This is what Jessica Taylor said in her LinkedIn post, that trauma causes mental illness. So I've had a lot of trauma in my life that I will cover, and basically I'm not being given the support that I should be given. I've never been given the support that I should be given. I'm just being given this terrible label, which I don't agree with. So I think I've spoken enough about that. I've talked about how I didn't like my grandmother and she was going to give me a spanking. I talked about how it was difficult for me to speak this morning because my boyfriend kept coming in and out of the room. You may even have seen him come in the video. And I talked about how trauma causes